So welcome everyone to our second class on legs and feet and energetically on Apana Vayu, which means the downward flow of energy through your legs and feet. And one way I sometimes describe that is, I don't know if you've had this feeling, but sometimes when you go into a very deep sleep or you sleep in and you get this really deep sleep, you feel this kind of deep relaxation and almost energy flow down your legs and feet. It's that feeling. That's Apanavayu. Hopefully at times you'll feel that during your yoga practice, just a sense of energy flowing down, maybe the backs of your legs and into your feet. So we're going to use the image of water to get into that today. So inhale, arms coming up. And if you like, you can visualize a waterfall flowing down at the top, down the top of your head and down the front of your face and the sides, the ears, the chest, and the stomach, and the hips, and the thighs, and the knees, and the shins, tops of the feet, and the toes, and the bottoms of the feet. And inhale, if you can imagine energy flowing up the back body from the ankles, the calves, the knees, the hamstrings, the hips, the lower back, the middle back, the upper back, shoulders, the arms, the hands, the neck, the head, the top of the head, and exhale. Just keep this going in your own time, in your own way of tracking that within yourself. I'm going to be quiet. Inhale up the back body, exhale down the front body. Exhale water, inhale light, radiant light. Or any image that works for you personally. It's called bhavana in Sanskrit. It's to infuse yourself with an idea, an image, a mantra. It's like you are water, tea you're putting in that water is this bhavana that you feel and sense and embody. Exhale Ujjayi Pranayama, constricting the throat. Adding Brahmari, the bee breath, if you like. Notice how adding sound allows you to lengthen that breath. Do this in your own time. You don't have to do it with me. I have a sea of sound. This is a body scan, a moving body scan. Adding Om. Om. together. Maybe placing one hand on the heart, the other on the belly, or both hands on the belly. Maybe making an intention, a sankalpa for the class to do with grounding or letting go of any aches and pains in the body or mind. And ready? Inhale, coming up, arms at the side, and just put your attention on your feet. And you could do this by tying your ankles together with a belt, if you want to try that, or a scarf. If you've got one foot that works differently than the other, that can be very helpful. I'm not going to show that, but you could do that if you wanted to. And then we're going to do inhale, arms at the front. Just notice the difference in terms of your balance. And notice the position of your spine in space as you do this. So for many of us with more arch in our back like this, we'll actually need to lean a bit more forward when we do this. So the spine is a little longer as we come up. If you can see me doing that and stretching tall at the top to lengthen the spine. I'm trying to resist the exhale coming down. This really strengthens the ankles. If you can really resist that movement down. Again, do this in your own time. You all know this practice. All been with me. We have no new students this term, which is kind of a nice privilege to be able to go a little deeper with you right away. And remember to link the movement with the breath. Doing around 6 rounds. This is Tadasana. And you can bring in that bhavana at any time of inhale light, exhale water. I was starting to move into a bhavana actually of a tree on the inhale, from the roots all the way up to the expanding branches and the leaves. So spring must be coming because that's what came to mind. So you might have another image comes to mind as you do it, and just go with that. When you're ready, when you feel complete in the dynamic warm-up, just staying in the pose. And breathing here. If it's too much, you can just move the heels down on the exhale and then inhale, come up. It's a nice dynamic stay, or just stay in the position. Just decide which one you'd like to do. I think I'm going to move mine today. It feels better in my body. You can always lift your toes up so you're on the balls of the feet and you lift the toes when you come down on that exhale. And always wear toe spreaders. It's a wonderful prop for spreading the toes, especially if you have bunions. You can use those during your practice. And the arms can be anywhere that feel comfortable for you. So for example, you can bring the hands on top of the head and drop those shoulders as you exhale if you have tight shoulders. Inhale up. When you're ready, we're going to start going into the side body at the same time, strengthening the core, the legs, the ankles. If you can, stay up, and at the end of the exhale, coming down. And you'll feel that stretching the side of that right hip. Inhale, coming up. And if you're in pain today in your hips, you might want to not come up on the toes in the center. You might want to just not add that strength piece, because when we're in pain, we just work more on moving rather than strengthening by adding things like this a little harder. Just do this in your own time again. Do it with me or in your own time. And again, you can add that bending of the knee, the side you're coming towards, to get a bit more deeply into that side stretch. And it's interesting that imbalances in the upper back can actually affect the legs and the feet and hips. So it's good to put it all together. When you're ready, just finishing up. And just rest for a moment. Just watch the breath. Notice how the breath rate has increased just by doing that. I think a lot of the cardio work of yoga actually comes from lengthening the breath. So it's kind of an interesting thing. It down regulates the nervous system, but yet works the heart. We're going to go into that side stretch a little bit more deeply. So I'm just going to come to one roll. And so this would be your left hand, left foot crossing over right and stretching as you exhale. And then inhale, you can come out of it and bring the hips the other direction if you like. So I'm just moving into the hips a little bit, or you can just stay, your choice. So I invite you to make choices differently than I show and in a different timing than I show. And if it feels good for you, you can do it with me. Exhale, going into the pose, and inhale, coming out of it. Maybe staying in it. Try to keep those shoulders as aligned as possible. Ready? Coming to the other side. So your right hand, right foot crossed over left. Sticking that left hip out. Bringing your arm towards the wall. That's your exhale position. Then inhale, coming out. And you can put some weight into that right hand and stick that right hip out towards the wall. Exhale, going into the pose. And inhale, coming out of it. Side to side movement with the hips is very helpful for the body and the mind. Help shake things up that get caught in the nervous system, in the physical body. So if you think of your mind as being non-localized, it's all over your body. With the nerves that run through your brain, down the spine, into all the different parts of your body. And then back up from your gut to your brain. It's very much how the yogis viewed the mind, is it's non-localized. It's all over the body. When you're ready, coming back to the center, just notice how you feel having just done that. We're going to do one more pose, and this could be a morning practice for you. It would be about 15 minutes. Inhale, arms up the sides, and exhale down the front. You can bend your knees, your first or bend of the day. You could come halfway down. You can keep your head up if you've got any blood pressure issues. If you can, release the head like an apple at the bottom. Maybe one foot comes behind if you've got one leg longer than the other. Inhale, coming up, arms sides. And exhale, we're gonna do that humming as we exhale. Inhale, radiance. Feel that light radiating out, all directions out of the heart center. And exhale, waterfall front. Radiating out with light, with energy, with prana. Exhale, letting go of ama, toxins, what's holding you back. Physically feeling those legs, the backs of the legs on that exhale. And bringing the head to the feet. This is a semi-inversion. It's very down regulating. So next time you get overwhelmed or you have that feeling of being a bit disembodied, this is a great vinyasa to do, just this. For grounding. Puts us into the parasympathetic nervous system. Just finishing up. So center, samastiti. Just rest for a moment. Maybe remember your sankalpa, the intention you made for the practice. May I, or I am, or just a word, an image, a concept. You bring it into your body, you infuse your body with it, and then it becomes the bhavana. Notice energetically what happens in your body as you bring in those healing thoughts. Maybe a sense of downward flow down your back and down your legs into your feet. Maybe one leg more than the other. When you're ready, we're going to go into stretching one leg at a time. So bringing your left foot forward and your right foot turned out. And you turn out that back foot to whatever you need for stability. Your feet can be wider apart, like a train track, or more narrow heel to heel alignment. So you can decide that based on your stability, but also the width of your hips. So you're going to inhale, you're going to bring your arms up the front if that works, or otherwise side. Exhale, forward bend, stretching long if you can, drawing in from the pelvic floor to the belly button, and then coming forward, bending that knee as necessary. If you've got any blood pressure issues, you feel lightheaded, just leave that head up. Inhale, move the arms first in line with the ears and come up. Exhale, starting position. This is Parshva Uttanasana. I'm teaching it the classical Chennai way. One day you'll come to India with me and you'll get this from my wonderful teachers in their 70s. I'm going to make that wish for you right now. Exhale. It's part of my retirement plan. Start bringing you all to India. Remember on that inhale, move your arms first in line with your ears, palms facing forward, maybe the fingers together. And exhale, release, relax everything on that exhale. So inhale is about effort and exhale is about relaxation. That's a little bit different than Western ideas of exercise.
Again, you can bend that knee if you need. You can inhale, intensify by interlocking your fingers. And going in and up and maybe skipping that rest in between. And when you're ready, you can stay at the bottom now, having repeated around 4 to 6 times. Are you ready to stay? Dynamically say, inhale, lift the chest, exhale, forward bend. This is called sthiti. You might be feeling the hamstrings quite a bit. So you can always bend that knee as you exhale to add some flow in the tissues and also the nerves, and making it a little bit softer. So nerves don't like to be stretched, they like to be flossed. And I recently learned from a colleague who does somatic therapy work that this actually works with the emotional mind, this flossing, softer movement. When you're ready, maybe coming to the big toe side with your hands. You could have blocks under your hands. Again, you could be at a chair or a bench, an ottoman, coffee table. Inhale, lifting the chest, exhale, forward bend. Again, you can bend the knee if that feels better for you. Or keep it straight. And you'll feel a stretch of your inner hamstring. And that can become a real gripper when we don't feel emotionally safe. That area can get really tight as a freeze response in the body. So just be aware of that. Again, you can move with it. Again, thinking about the mind as non-localized all through the body. You're having done that 4 to 6 times, go to the other side. You can feel the stretch on that right hip, the outside of the hip. The more you twist, the more stretch you'll feel. Inhale, lifting, exhale, forward bend. You could play with having one arm up on a prop or something like a bench to change the feel of it, or just stretch it long like I'm showing right now, just to get differently into that right hip on the inhale movement. Back to the center. Now, I invite you, if you want, to add a downward facing dog, or you can just come up and step back into Samasthiti. If downward facing dog is in your practice, you're going to come forward with both hands and then step that left foot back. And just stretch one leg at a time in this pose, bringing one foot behind the other on the exhale. Inhale, transitioning up on the toes, and then exhale other side. It's one of my favorite ways of stretching the calves and ankles as well. Just notice if one calf is differently than the other. You could be in a standing forward bend if you're not able to do this pose. And from here, if you can, you're going to walk back to that forward bend and come up. Now that can be a little challenging. There are definitely days I can't do that. So just get up any way you can if that was not working for you today.
It depends what's going on in all sorts of parts of your body, so please just let go of the thoughts of, oh, I can't do that. There's days I can't do a bunch of the things I teach, right? I get to choose, so I've got the advantage here. Right foot forward, left foot turned out. Tendency to shame and blame us and others is quite prevalent in our culture, unfortunately. Inhale, arms coming up. So as yogis, we want to work on letting go of those kinds of thoughts. Not very helpful. Exhale, forward bend, bending that front knee as needed. Inhale, arms in line with the ear coming up. Exhale, starting position. Water flowing down, feel those legs, feel those feet. Inhale. Like a tree growing up. Exhale, water flowing down. Inhale, tree growing up from the roots, the trunk, to the branches, the leaves. Exhale, water flowing down all directions if you can. Keep this going in your own timing. When you've done 4 to 6, maybe you stay in position. Maybe you start to make it a little harder by interlocking the fingers. When you come up, maybe straightening that front leg. Requires a lot of strengthening of those ankles when you're moving up and down. Be careful of the tendency of the toes to grip as you move, to balance. Try to ask your toes to relax if they're doing that. And remember, on the exhale in particular, focus on the anatomy of the breath. From the pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in, draw all that in and up. We're going to stay down now. Inhale, lengthen the spine stiffly. Exhale, forward fold. You have blocks under your hands, books, a bench, chair, one of those little folding stools from Canadian Tire. Ready? Coming to the big toe side, doing 4 to 6 here, depending on the length of your breath. That back foot, again, you can turn out to whatever works for your body on a particular side. Your 2 sides might be quite different. We expect our bodies to be symmetric and straight. If you look around in nature, there's very few things that are perfectly straight. I don't actually think there's anything that's perfectly straight. So it's a bit of a human construct. I think that we should be these straight lines. Maybe staying in the pose. Feeling that inner thigh, hamstring, going to the other side, maybe rotating that back foot so it's in line with the front, if that works for you. Then can you stretch that left side of your hip, maybe even down into the leg. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, forward bend. Also works the outside hamstring of the front leg. So it's 3 hamstrings behind the thigh that we're stretching. Doing these 3 positions. And you can play with extending if you have a bench or a windowsill like I have. I often will do this variation to just get a bit more into the upper body.
Those of you with scoliosis, you will enjoy this modification perhaps. When you're ready, come back to the center. And if you feel ready, going into your downward facing dog, if this doesn't work for you, just going into a forward bend or just rest in samastiti standing. If it's comfortable for you, going on one foot at a time, you might go back so that your heels are actually off the ground, and then when you move one foot behind the other, maybe the heel goes down. It's just working with that range of motion of the ankle and the calf, stepping side to side, inhale on the toes, exhale, switching sides. Notice if one side is tighter than the other. Ready? And try to use those hands to walk back. Something definitely don't do much in our lives. Coming to your forward bend. Gradually coming up without the arms, just gradually coming up. And noticing how you feel. That's about a 35-minute practice. If you did just that, that would be a good practice. And then from there, you could meditate, do some breathing, or perhaps just lie on the ground and rest. Okay, so let's take it up a notch. We're going to work with some balancing poses. I'm going to come off my mat so you can see me perhaps a little better. I'm going to add one light here. So it's a little bit dark. Let's see, I hope that helps. Yes, that looks better. Okay. All right, so we haven't done this term yet. So standing in samastiti. And I'm going to angle the camera down so you can see my feet a bit better. Okay, good. So inhale, arms up. Exhale, balancing on your right leg. You're going to bring your left leg up. Inhale. And exhale, just that to begin. So just balancing one side at a time. So this is working with the legs and the hips for sure. Pause between the inhale and the exhale. Exhale, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in. Feel like the breath is moving. The anatomy of the breath is moving your legs. So your leg, your hip flexor remains soft. Keep this going or adding on. Exhale. Inhale, extend the leg out. Exhale, draw it in. Inhale up. This is also working core strength. Exhale, leg comes up, drawing the belly in and up. Inhale, breathe into the chest and the stomach area. Exhale, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in. I'm going to flex my foot on the exhale. Inhale. Exhale, I'm going to flex the foot, adding that on. Inhale, pointing the foot. Exhale, flex. Inhale, and last time. Exhale, flex. So it's really working core strength. Inhale, as well as all the muscles of those legs. And the hips. And exhale, release. Okay, moving to the sides. So again, this is legs and hips. Inhale, arms coming up. And exhale, bring the leg to the side and lift it up. We're gonna, actually, I'm gonna point the foot on this one. Inhale, I'm gonna flex it, just gonna make it easier for what we're doing. Exhale, point. There we go. Inhale, center, and just do this in your own timing. Add-on is going into a side movement, which is not as hard in terms of the leg work, but it works more with balance, so you can add that star movement if you want. So I just find this kind of fun, but if you want to work on strengthening the sides of your hips, upward is a little harder. This one works more with legs, feet, and core, this variation. Draw your belly in as you do that. Try to resist the movement back, moving against gravity. Makes us use all those small twitch muscles in the body and activates our proprioception, those nerve bundles throughout our entire body. They start to wake up as we do these kinds of things. They're going, where are you? Where are you? And they're trying to stabilize you. So this is a lot about fall prevention, this kind of movement. And just finishing up your last round, left to right. You can always do right to left. If right is your easy side and left your hard side, that's a therapeutic idea. Welcome to do that. And exhale, center. This bilateral movement is also very soothing for the nervous system. We're going to head back now. So inhale, arms coming up. Exhale, we're going to start just in this position with the arms down by our hips and coming forward. And again, I'm going to point the foot as we come forward, just coming to where works for you. You could have a chair in front of you. And inhale up. You could also use the wall to reach to in front of you. Just find where you can. Maybe you don't go into the full Virabhadrasana warrior 3 position. Notice the ankle really going as it tries to stabilize you. You can tell which angle is weaker. If you want, you can bring your arms to the sides as you come down. That sometimes can give you a bit more balance. Try to drop the back hip. So the leg that's back, try to drop that hip. It will want to go up. Resist the inhale. Try to lift away, 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 and then place the foot at the last minute with the hands. I can always tell which side is weaker. And last round, if you want, you can try the arms in front. You could bring your hands to the wall or to the top of the chair. And this is going to be our last round. We've done a lot of these. You might have already given up. And release. And just rest. Oh, I'm going to turn my heat off. It is getting warm. So notice how you feel having done that work. Hopefully a little bit of energy
activation. That's a way of activating the sympathetic nervous system in a container of safety, which is how we want to do that, so that we can be alive and active and awake and engaged, yet still relaxed. So not too tight, not too loose, that balance of the autonomic nervous system. So we're going to go into the calves. We're going to do a couple of ways. We're going to start with what I did last week with you, but a little bit differently. You can touch a wall if you want to do this. So I'll show that way. Okay, so yes, this is what I discovered. If you place the block this way with your foot, so your foot here, it can be a little bit easier. If you do it this way, it tends to tip. So if you have a book, face it horizontally, I guess would be maybe the best way to say that. We're going to work with the left foot first, and you can have it close enough so that you can hold on to a wall if you want. And the other foot, you're going to put right beside that blocker book. So a little bit differently than we did last week. I think this works a little bit better. And then bring the ball of the foot to the blocker book, and then try to bring that heel down. And you should feel quite a stretch. Okay, I'm going to angle the camera down so you can see this better. See, some of you are trying to see what I'm doing. Okay, so I've got my left foot here, and I'm trying to bring the heel down. And then the other foot is beside, and then I inhale, come up on my toes, and exhale, come down. Now, if you find this really easy, you can move to the center of the room and do this. And you can add arms. If you're finding this pretty easy, you can do this. This is substantially harder. This is my yogification of this. And I've got the camera on my feet so you can see. Now we've worked dynamically with these calves a lot already, so you might be ready to just stay there and breathe. And if you are, you can exhale, you can try to bend that knee a little bit, and you might bring the other foot back a little bit, forward. You can play with where it feels best for you, and then straighten. Yeah, actually, I think forward is a little easier. So bending that back knee just a little bit to go get into that soleus muscle, the deeper muscle of the calf, and then inhale, straighten that. The gastrocnemius is the bigger muscle. So we've got two muscles in the calf. I think this was my very first yoga therapy that I started experimenting with when I was a dancer, because I had tight calves, and I learned about the soleus in my anatomy class. And I was like, oh, I've got to learn how to stretch that. Okay, going to the other side. So first, if you want, working more in a strength way, I've got the ball of foot on the block or the book. Make sure if it's a book, it's a hard one, a hard covered one. And then you can inhale, come up, and exhale down. This also works with hips. So one hip higher than the other. It can help balance that as well. So this is also working with the hips, the ankles, the toes, and calves. You can place that, for you, that right foot, you can place it further back if that helps you, makes it less intense. I like it beside. Let's just experiment with that. Oh, that's definitely more challenging than doing it without the block. Okay, and then staying in the pose, if that works for you. And try to bend that left knee a little bit and then inhale, straighten. Again, that back foot, you might want to bring it back or forward. I think it probably just depends on leg length, what feels best for you. Exhale, bend. I'm bending that leg that's on the block. I'm bending that leg and then inhale, straightening. Getting into that deeper calf muscle and then maybe just staying there. Can you just stay there with that knee bent? Feel the stretch in the ankle. It's pretty intense. And finishing up. Okay, so I really like that one because it gets into the ankle and the calf a bit more. We're going to do the usual calf stretch that I do in your class. So I'm going to show it at this wall. Still got the camera on my feet. So bringing the left foot back and the front foot in a warrior position. And I'm bringing my mat actually right to the wall. Now you can add on by bringing the toes up on the baseboard. If you want to work on stretching those toes, the back foot parallel to the front. Ooh, that's intense. And then exhale, bend the front knee and inhale, straighten. This is working with the knee, the ankle, and the calf, all of that. You could have a block to stabilize that front knee at the wall. Iyengar add-on. You put it below the knee on the shin. That can feel really good if you have an instability in your ankle. Okay, we're going to switch sides. So I'm putting my toes up on the baseboard. Hope you can see that. And then I'm adding my block vertical position below my knee. You do not have to do this. It makes it a bit easier. It just makes it more stable if you've got an injury in your knee. Exhale, bend the back knee, inhale, straighten. And keep walking that back foot back until you feel the stretch if you're not feeling it. Whew. I really feel this in my ankle. I don't know about you. So this helps us with creating a more symmetric gait as we walk these kinds of exercises. I'm always amazed. I track this using my Apple Watch and look at it under health on my iPhone, and I can see when I've done my yoga practice, the difference in my gait. It's pretty remarkable. So I've got scoliosis, so I always have a natural imbalance, but I get it to about 0 with my practice. So I'm exhaling, bending the knee, and inhale, straightening. I see some of you trying to figure out what I'm doing. Okay, when you're ready, release that. And let's just do a nice forward bend to tie this together. You're still there? Good. All right. Okay. I'm really working on the legs today. Okay, sorry. Before we do the forward bend, let me remember the shins because I always forget about this. We did this last week. Some of you asked me about this. Cross the left foot over the right, and you're going to bend the knees and inhale, straighten. And I'm going to put the the right arm over the left. I'm mirroring for you. You could connect your hands, but I'm not going to do that for my shoulders. Exhale, bend. And then inhale, straighten and bring those arms up, and you get into the shoulders, and your hands might be linked. You have different shoulders than I do. So I'm really working on pointing that toe. This works with fallen arches as well, the way we have the foot. So I learned that from my teachers in India. This kind of work works with arches, creating an arch in the foot, which kind of surprised me, but apparently it helps. So we're going to do the other side. This is Garudasana, eagle pose. Modification, bringing the right foot over the left. And then pointing that right toe, bending the knees. You want to do this when you're quite warm because it's pretty intense. So that's your right over your left, and then your arm you do opposite. So left over right. And inhale. Bring the arms up and exhale down. It's also a balance pose. I've got the classical arms on this one. You want to see that? There's quite a bit of mental focus. Can't do this seated in a chair as we did last week. And when you're ready, release. All right, and now let's do our forward bend. So let's do this in a way that's acknowledging the 7 directions, Ding Namaskaram. So there's 7 of them in yoga. So I'm facing to my east. We're going to start east, then we're going to go south. You keep turning right, then west, then north. Then you head back east. So you head to your east and then you keep turning around towards your right shoulder. And then you do these are the other directions. The upper direction, the urdhva, the downward direction, which is the apana or adho, urdhva and adho. And then we come up and we do the side directions, the intermediate directions, which are here. And the idea is that there are these energies or devas, beings of light in all these directions, and we're connecting to those. So this is an indigenous practice from South India called Ding Namaskaram. We're going to just do Om Namo as we do this. We've done this before. Inhale, arms coming up. I'll cue you for the first one without the chant. Stretching the arms up. Yeah, I'm going to stay here. And exhale, we come halfway down, drawing the belly in. Inhale, interlock the fingers, coming up. Exhale, turning to the right. Inhale, in the position. Exhale, palms together, coming halfway down, drawing the belly in. Honoring the south. Inhale, interlock the fingers, coming up. Exhale, turning to the right, towards the west. Inhale, in the position. Exhale, palms together, halfway down. Namaskarams to the west. Inhale, interlock the fingers, coming up. Exhale, turn right to the north. Inhale, in the position. Exhale, palms together. Namaskarams to the north. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, turning to the right. Inhale, palms together, honoring the upward direction. And right away, exhale, forward fold, coming to the downward direction. You can bend your knees here as a modification or keep it straight. Inhale, interlock the fingers coming up. And exhale to the intermediate directions, palms facing up, arms slightly to the sides, forward fold. Inhale with the interlocked fingers coming up center. Exhale, starting position, hands at the heart. We're going to do that now with chanting. We're going to end with Om Shanti.
Okay, so this is a practice you could do as a morning practice, just this. I love this practice. It's from Srivasta Ramaswamy. It's a beautiful practice that he learned for Krishnamacharya in the 1960s, which I just love. Inhale, arms coming up. We're just going to do Om Namo. There's a full chant that goes with this, but we're going to start with Om Namo. Om Namo. Interlock fingers coming up. Exhale, turn right to the south. Exhale. Om Namo. To the south. Inhale, interlock fingers. Exhale, turn to the west. Inhale in the position. Om Namo. To the west. Inhale. Exhale, turn right. Inhale in the position. To the north. Om Namo. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, turn right. Inhale, palms together, looking up. Om Namo. Inhale here, exhale forward. Om Namo. Downward flow direction. Inhale, coming up. And sides, palms up. Om Namo. Interlock the fingers, coming up. And exhale, palms to the heart. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. We're just going to take it down towards the floor, the vinyasa. I'm working you hard today. All right. That's what happens when the power goes out. Lots of energy, not having done as much this week. All right, so inhale at the front of the mat. We're just going to do a bit of a vinyasa here. Inhale, arms coming up. Exhale, forward bend. Om Namo. Left foot back. Inhale, arms up, knee forward. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, heart position. Samastiti, inhale, arms up, sides. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, right. Arms up, the knee comes forward towards the toes. Exhale, child's pose or downward facing dog. Stay here. Can work one leg at a time if you like. Modification, just child's pose right away. Inhale, upward facing dog or upward cat. So I'm going to show the upward cat with the knees down. You could do an upward facing dog. Exhale, draw the belly in, go into your child's pose. Bring the hands back. Inhale, arms in line with your ears coming up. Exhale, starting position, you can stay here. You could have a blanket under the knees or a pillow. And if you can, coming down to the heels. Inhale, arms moving in front. You could just be staying up on those knees. So skip going down towards the ankles with your buttocks. Exhale, forward fold. Bring the hands forward. Prithvi Namaskaram. Salutations to the earth. Inhale, lifted cat, or if you want, you can do an upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog if you can. Otherwise, just go back and forth between up cat and child's pose. Inhale, upward facing dog. You can keep the toes tucked under or release them. Exhale, child's pose. Bring the hands back. Inhale, arms in line with the ears. Exhale, hands coming down by your sides, and if you can, also adding the buttocks coming down to Vajrasana. So, Prithvi Namaskaram, earth salutation. Inhale, third time. Om Namo Namaha. Om Namo Namaha. And when you're ready, inhale, upward facing dog or up cat. Om Namo Namaha. Inhale, upward facing dog. Urdhva Mukha Svanasana or Chakravakasana, knees down. Om Namo Namaha. It's to build your exhale. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, starting position. Fourth and last time. Inhale, coming up. Exhale. Try to remember to leave the arms forward on that exhale. Om Namo Namaha. Inhale, upward facing dog or Chakravakasana. Om Namo Namaha. Just stay here and breathe. And switch side to sides if you want to get into calves a bit more. You can bring one foot up to the air or on a wall. Ekapada, Adho Mukha Svanasana. I'll show it the wall this time, I think. No, I've got no wall there. And when you're ready, inhale, upward facing dog or lifted cat. Exhale, child, and stay here. Stretching to the left, stretching that right side, right hip. And you can go to the other side if you like, or just stay on that side if that's your side that needs attention. Up to the center. And just taking a rest on your back. A few breaths before we close. Just going to take a couple of minute rest. Just notice how you feel. Classically, the feet are together and then they just turn out. You can hold the sides of the mat to try to find where your straight point is. I often find students are crooked, you can put your feet at a baseboard and help find your alignment that way as well. So observe the natural rise and fall of the breath. And maybe some of that apana vayu, some energy flowing down from the base of the spine down the legs into the feet, or maybe just one leg and foot. Inhale Om, exhale Namo. I surrender, I let go. Letting go of the vrittis or movements of the mind. Observing the rise and fall of the breath. Inhale, let, exhale, go. Inhale, Om, exhale, Namo. Your legs can always be bent. Feels better on your lower back. Stay here a little longer. If you'd like, just bring the left leg into the chest as you exhale. And now straighten it. Exhale, bend. Whole leg into the chest with the foot up. And hold maybe the little toe side of that foot or big toe or back of the thigh or calf, or use a belt. And stretching that leg long. Putting the calf or the thigh or the big toe. Eka Padangustasana. This is the supta or lying version. You can always move a little bit. And when you're ready, release that leg. Inhale, extend. Exhale, bringing the right leg in, bending the knee into the chest. You can stay in any of these positions that feel good for you a little longer before moving on. Inhale, extend the leg long to the sky. Exhale, bend the knee towards the shoulder and then hold here, or maybe go up to the calf, or maybe hold the big toe or the little toe side. You could also use a belt to achieve this position. Just going into this deep
supine lunge position. Nice groin stretch, inner thigh. And opposite hip. When you're ready, so maybe straightening that leg, hold the calf, thigh, use a belt, or hold the big toe. And just finishing up, happy baby, holding the thighs, the calves, the little toes. Try to bring the lower back to the ground. We're just gonna close here, supine. Bring the hands to the heart. Remember your sankalpa at the beginning of the class, your intention. Bring that to mind. Om. Shanti, shanti, shanti. Shanti, shanti, shanti. Shanti, shanti, shanti. Namaste. Namaskaram. Thank you very much.